I come to you broadcasting live with a ghost in the house, 1. 2, what the heck? Very dirty hair, sorry y'all, and no makeup. And also we're not live. We're really starting strong. So today, this drawer you can see the tip of here is so packed, I typically cannot close it. And so that's what we're gonna tackle today. It's my bronzer and highlighter drawer. We're gonna start with the bronzers. I might only do bronzers in this videos and save highlighters. I might do both. We're just gonna kind of see where the wind takes me. That is the task. If you like decluttering videos, I do these quite often. It's kind of like a fixture on my channel. So I have an entire playlist if you wanna watch more of them. You know, I try makeup out for a living, which is crazy, but I freaking love what I do. And so that just means I'm always trying new things, and things come in, things go out, just kind of the way of it. I have a pretty big collection as it is, but there are some that are bigger, some that are smaller. I like to curate it from time to time because it's just too overwhelming. It gets to the point where I have choice paralysis and I'm like, I don't even know what I want to use. I just want to use bronzer because I have too many to choose from. Also, I had the realization, I know this is like the longest intro ever, just bear with me. I had the realization that when the pandemic started, 2 years ago by the time I'm filming this, makeup that I had before then, some of it was already old, but using that as a place marker in time where I'm like, okay, anything that I know I had at that point, which was a lot of this, add on 2 more years because no matter what, all of that is at least 2 years old and then some. So I have things that at that point was already old and that now is 2 years older. Does that make sense? If you think about that, it starts to get like crazy because you're like, whoa, some of this stuff is crazy old. I don't know. Anyway, so I need to be a little bit cutthroat here. I have not had enough coffee, y'all. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, enough talking. Let's do it. All right, this is what we're working with here. It's my bronzers and highlighters. I'd like to be able to see stuff better in this drawer, you know? That's the goal. We're gonna pull all this out and spread it out and look at it. All right, we're in my daughter's nursery because the lighting is so much better in here. So I've got a few highlighters I need to pull out because like I said, we're gonna just start with the bronzer and move on from there. I think the rest of those are highlights. Okay. This isn't even all of it because I have some at the workspace and I decided to do this video without remembering to grab them from there. So bear with me because there's probably like 4 or 5 missing from this. This is a lot. Let's see how many we have. 33. I'm betting we're closer to 40, including the ones there. But I'm excited to go through these because there are some I already know just absolutely don't work for me, or they're just so old that gross, they need to go, you know. So let's start. Okay, this RMS Bariti bronzer is so old. I can't even like get a swatch of it. I really liked it. Would I buy this again? Probably, but am I gonna buy it again right this second? No. But I do like it. It's kind of a glowier cream bronzer. I'd be curious. Yeah, this is 12 months. This is probably like 4 or 5 years old. Gross. So that definitely needs to go. This was honestly the impetus for this category being decluttered because I was like, oh my gosh, gross. It's so old. Speaking of, this one is pretty old too. 6 months is how long? Oh my gosh, come on. It says 6 months. I had already owned it before the pandemic. Again, I'm just using that as a time, place, like reminder. You know what I mean? Like I know what makeup I bought after that. I didn't buy nearly as much. Oh, it looks so pretty though. I really like the Kosas cream formula. I have a blush one that has a highlighter as well. And honestly, if I still have that one's even older than this one. I cannot believe it says 6 months though. That's crazy. So this one has to go. But I really like that formula. Pinocchio's joining us. You wanna come in and lay down? Come here. Come here, sweet boy. Okay, side note. I love like literally everything from CeraVe. I hate their makeup removing cloths. I'm trying to just use them for swatches and use them up, but I bought them for travel in a pinch and I hated them. The color of this is way wrong. This is the Sephora Bronzed. It's just a little bit too orangey for me. The formula is fine. I don't think it's terrible, but it's not my favorite I've ever used. But then couple that with the fact that I don't like the shade and I just don't want to keep it. It's really smooth. But I always felt like it looked patchy, and maybe it was just the color because that was a really smooth swatch. But I bought this for a full face of the Sephora brand, and there are some freaking amazing products I fell in love with that became like holy grails. This was not one of them, so that one is gonna go. All right, we're getting rid of 3 so far. Let's just kind of go in order. I can never decide if it's more helpful to me to go randomly or to go in order, but I think we're just gonna go in order. This is one, I don't understand how people like this. I hate this cream bronzer. there's a part of me that's like, I want to try it again. Maybe I should try it again because it has been a while, but I was not a fan of this. I felt like it was hard to work with, but I know for some people this is like their favorite. I have it in Butter Biscuit. It says 12 months. I had this before the 2 years, so this is, I guess, pretty darn old. Kind of want to try it again, just looking at it. Let me think about this. Like, I feel like maybe I should do a video trying things I think I don't like. That might be fun. Now that I'm saying that, although I know that's kind of old, but also I'm like, I feel like it feels fine, you know? It doesn't smell weird. So I'm going to think about that one. This is one I don't like. This is more of a shade thing. It's the Anastasia cream bronzer. This was so wrong for me shade-wise. What shade did I get? Amber. And it is so freaking pigmented. That's what makes it hard for me to work with, because any way I've tried to apply this, it's looked crazy on me. And it sucks because look how much product you get. Like, I feel like that's a ton. And this one's probably not too old because it was kind of recent that I bought it. It says 12 months on this. So this, I'm hoping someone I know will get some use out of because it is still good. It was a little too pigmented for what I like. And by a little, I mean probably the most pigmented cream bronzer I own. And it was a little bit harder to work with too, so oh, I just realized I wasn't going in order there. I did it again. Danessa Myricks Power Cream Bronzer is one of my absolute favorites. It's like the tone of it is so nice. It is so easy to blend. It is pigmented, so it's similar to the Anastasia one in that way. But there's something about the formula of this that is so easy to blend that it ends up looking perfect. I have the shade Light. This is one of those products that so many people talk about. It was my intro into the Danessa Myricks brand. It is so good, you guys. It is that good. It blends so easily. I like to blend it with the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer brush. It's just, that combo is so beautiful. So I'll link that brush because it's inexpensive and it is one of my favorites for cream bronzer application. So that is the first one that I am definitely keeping. One of my absolute, if not my absolute favorite cream bronzer is the Saie Sun Melt. This is one that you can't really screw up. I feel like I can just dip my brush right in it, apply it right away, and it always looks perfect. The tone of this ends up looking beautiful. It's kind of moisturizing. I feel like it stays well enough on the face. I feel like staying power wise, the Danessa Myricks one might stay on a little bit longer, but they both do a really good job. But this, I just love. I love that it's a bigger pan too, so I can kind of just, like I said, swirl my brush right into it. I have the shade Light Bronze. This is one that when like it eventually expires, I will buy again. I love it so much. So this is another Danessa Myricks one. It's the, it doesn't say the name, but I'm pretty sure this is the Contour Balm. It's more balmy versus the Power Cream. Like, this is literally a thinner formula, a lot thinner, a little more moisturizing. But this one is also pretty. I'm still kind of practicing using this. I apply it the same way, but I do find that it still blends really nicely, especially if you have drier skin. I think you'd like it. It's not like my favorite I've ever used just yet, but I'm just still messing with it and seeing how I like it. So I don't want to get rid of it or anything like that yet. And I have the shade Light One. We are in the golden age of cream and liquid bronzers. There is no doubt about that. We're going to have a lot of keeps right in a row here. This is the Milk Bionic Bronzer. This one's still very new to me. I liked it. I was surprised. I applied this with my fingers. See, it separates really easily though. So that's one huge con of this. I just used this a few days ago and it already separated so much. So just feel like you have to squirt some out and waste a little bit. This blended so beautifully with my fingers. Like, it's kind of crazy how it works. So I'm still messing with it. I still really am enjoying it. I don't know that that's one that right away I would say, yes, you need to go out and buy though, but I am enjoying it. This is a new Hollywood contour wand. I freaking love this stuff. This is one I used, was it yesterday? And I said aloud to myself in the mirror, Jessica, why don't you just use this every day? It looks so freaking flawless and you don't have to be good at applying makeup. Like, there's something special about this and it looks so intimidating. It's such a dark color. With a brush, I'll just like literally draw it on my cheeks like that. Then I'll get the same e.l.f. brush if I want, whatever, and blend it in, and it looks literally perfect every time. It's never too much. Like, this is worth the price tag. It is so freaking beautiful. By the way, because I know I'm going to get questions, I got these scrunchy bands. I just mentioned them in my Amazon favorites video, which I can link if you want to watch that next. It's like a 4-pack. These are so cool. So definitely check that video out because I have the link there. This is new. I freaking love. Similar to the contour one, honestly. This is the KVD Beauty Gel Contour. It's literally a doe foot, like a concealer. And again, same thing. I literally just draw it onto my cheeks. And there's something about this mix of pigment with whatever that looks so natural on the skin. Oh my gosh. This is a special product. This is even easier to use than the contour one. So if that intimidates you, I also like the packaging of this better. I wish, honestly, it'd be pretty cool if this packaging were what Charlotte Tilbury switched to, because it'd be easier to keep clean. This is stunning. If you like a more natural product and you want it to be super easy to use, I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed by this. It's so freaking good. Can't believe I waited to try it. I should have bought it the second it launched because it is an amazing product. So I'm keeping these because I'm still trying these out. This is the Makeup by Mario Stick Bronzer. I just don't know how I feel about it. Feels a little hard, but I don't know how I feel about it yet, so I don't feel comfortable getting rid of this yet, you know? Same with the Rare Beauty ones. These I have in Happy Soul and Power Boost. So this one's Happy Soul, very similar to the Makeup by Mario, and this one's Power Boost. Power Boost definitely looks a lot more orange, but it's a little bit lighter, so I just am still messing with those. So those are keeps because I'm still playing with. Now we're gonna have a bunch in a row we're gonna get rid of because all three of these, well, this one is super old. I actually liked this formula, but now there's so much better out there. But I do think it's still good for the drugstore. It's just this one is super old. It's a moisturizing formula. Yeah, it smells a little bit weird. It didn't have a great smell to start with, in fairness to this product. I have this in Toffee. It really is pretty though. But yeah, it's looking a little weird and I've had it a hot minute, so that one's gonna go. This Nudies Tinted Blur Stick in medium 6. It's not really meant to be a bronzer. That's kind of what I bought it for. It's very much blurring. It's just an interesting formula. It's very like soft. It kind of blends itself away though, but it worked okay. It's definitely past the expiration date. I'm gonna go. It was not something I thought was worth the money. I know I've mentioned that in videos before. It was kind of disappointing. Now, in fairness to nude sticks, they have actual bronzer sticks that are a different formula. So those are a little bit better. I still think those are drier. So I've decluttered those in the past, but this one I did not like for bronzer. This one I just think is mediocre. It's from Ulta Beauty. It's their take on a cream bronzer stick, and it was fine. I didn't think it was bad, but the tone is way wrong for me. So I'm just gonna get rid of it. I have a question. I know that most of the people that watch these videos of mine are people that already watch declutters. Maybe you've already seen my declutters or you will regularly watch my channel. If this is the very first video of mine that you're seeing, please let me know in a comment because I'm curious. I don't think this is a video that pulls like new people in. I really am just doing it because I like to declutter and share it. And I know a lot of you guys watch all of my declutters. So let me know if this is the first video of mine you're seeing, put a comment below saying that. I'm just curious, honestly. The newest bronzer here is this one, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is the Earth Day packaging. You guys let me know that this was sold at Target online. I made a mistake though. I bought the lightest bronzer shade, and again, the tone of it is just not right. I should have just gotten the original like medium bronzer shade because that is very light and it's very kind of orange. So I might still buy that. I don't currently own the butter bronzer because I kept getting it. It's in packaging like this, right? Well, this is way thinner. And I'm like, Physicians Formula, why are you not selling all of your bronzers in this thinner packaging? We all hate the giant packaging. Anyway, but it always breaks on me as well. So I used to own the butter bronzer. It broke like 2 different packagings in a row and then it went bad, blah, blah, blah. So I might pop back on Target and get the other shade to try it, but I love this new packaging and I think it's limited edition and that makes me so sad. So I'm hoping sales on this are good enough that they like bring back normal packaging. Also, this is just so cute. So the light one I'm still gonna keep because it's brand new and I still wanna try it out, but I'm definitely gonna buy the next shade up too. These I really like. I have the butter cake and one of the ones at the workspace is the butter coffee one. I tend to like that one a little bit more, but I do like both. I think these are nice. I bought mine on Amazon because they were hard to find, but I think they're both pretty. I definitely tend to like the other one better, the butter cake. It's a little bit, I want to say lighter, but honestly, it depends on where you swatch on this. But this one has a little bit more shimmer to it. So if you're into shimmery bronzer, you'd probably like this. If you're not, you'd like the other one, but they smell good. I think they're cute and fun, and they're still a really good quality bronzer. So this is the Physicians Formula Matte Minoy bronzer. I really like this, but the smell of this is so strong, you guys. Some people really like the smell, but it's so strong that I'm kind of tempted to get rid of it. The tone of this bronzer too, it works fine for me, but it's not quite right. And if I know I'm gonna buy the, gosh, usually when I apply it, it's way more pigmented than what I just swatched. That's interesting. Anyway, so I think it just applies better, obviously, with the brush as it's meant to be. But since I know I'm gonna buy the butter bronzer again in the right shade, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of this because this was kind of a newer product I was excited to try, and I do think the quality is good. The smell just kills me. I think it's just time. It's time to go. I much prefer the butter bronzer scent because they are very different smells. I think I'm going to get rid of this. I'm sad to say it. I don't reach for it because they reformulated. I don't know if this is the new or the old formula. I literally never use this because I have so many other bronzers I like. See, this is another one though that I'm like, oh, but Jessica, you should use it and make sure, because it wasn't cheap. Like, I bought this 18 months. It's got to be getting close. I'm going to put this in the maybe pile with the Fenty Beauty, and I might just try these out 1 or 2 more times, see how I'm feeling about them, see if they feel too old, and kind of go from there, because it makes me sad, especially this one was not cheap. I also literally never reach for it. Like I said, we're in the golden age of bronzers, man. This is going to get really tricky really fast. This is my favorite bronzer ever. I'm not even joking. This is my favorite powder bronzer. There's something about the tone of this. If you're anywhere near my skin tone, try this. It's the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. I have it in light. It barely looks like a bronze. Oh yeah, look at the tone of that. It's almost like gray, but it still looks like a bronzer and not a contour. Like, I can go ham with a brush with this and it always looks absolutely stunning. This is the second one of these. I have one I might have finally gotten rid of because I had hit so much pan. There was hardly any product left. This is an amazing bronzer. Very obvious keep. When I inevitably run out again, I will buy it again. All right, this I love, the Kevyn Aucoin Contour. It's like the only contour powder I have that's like a true contour. It's more gray. This has been a cult favorite for years. I've loved this for years. This is the second one of these I've owned. So I'm definitely keeping it because I do think there's a time and place for this, and I do use it and it looks so pretty on the skin. But you do have to be careful because it is truly meant to be contour, so it really is gray tone, but I love it. This is a newer purchase. This is the classic Too Faced milk chocolate bronzer, but typically I think their original was just the chocolate Soleil. This one's the milk chocolate, so it's a little bit lighter, but I've been loving this lately. Again, it's lighter, so I feel like I can kind of go ham with it, but it looks really pretty. I love the smell. I love this packaging. It feels so nice and luxe, that nice magnetic. It's like metal, or at least a nice plastic. I don't really know what it is. It definitely feels like a little bit heavier. Are you guys still there? So moving on, this is the Bare Minerals Faux Tan Bronzer. I think you have to be really careful when you apply this. I know some of you guys, I've recommended it and you love it. Some of you guys hate it. It's just, I think, finicky to work with because it is a loose bronzer. It carries a lot of color to it, but I really, really like it. I just tap a little bit in the thing, but this is one that I feel like has gotten lost in the shuffle lately because I have so many. So I'm excited now that I'll have a little bit less that I'll use this again because I've kind of forgotten about it. I feel like this is one of those bronzers I really like in the summertime because for my skin, this shade is definitely deeper and it's got a little bit of like shimmer to it. I really like this. So I'm excited to give this some more love. I just thought, you guys probably don't know Seussical the musical, some of you might, but I'm a musical theater nerd and I played in high school Gertrude McFuzz, who's like a little blue bird. She's in love with Horton the elephant, which if you know any Dr. Seuss books, there's a reason I'm telling you this, I promise. So there's a song in it that character sings called Notice Me Horton, and I can't not like with this, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I just haven't noticed it, so I'm thinking of Notice Me Horton, put down the clover. Anyway, I will notice you, Horton, I promise. Hoola bronzer. I bought this for a cult favorites that like I've forgotten about video, and this one's really good. I bought the mini, which I'm glad I did. However, I hate trying to get my big old bronzer brush in this tiny little thing. It makes me crazy, but this is a cult classic. It really is a good bronzer. I like the tone of it, so I'm definitely gonna keep it, and it's still newer to me. I don't think it's expired or anything. I kind of wish they'd done the mini, but they like did less product, but it was pressed out into a bigger pan. You know what I mean? Like the same amount of product, but like pressed thinner, because it's just hard to get my brush in that little thing. All right, this is one I'm gonna get rid of. It's the Flower Heat Wave. I love this, but I finally bought the cooler shade. This is the warmer tone, Sunswept, and it's just a little bit, I've loved the formula, so I've kept using it, but it's just a little too orange for me. So now that I have the other shade, that's the one I'm gonna keep. That's at the workspace right now. And then this one I'm gonna get rid of, but it's such a creamy, easy to use formula. I love it. It's a really good product. I'm gonna finally get rid of this. I think I forgot to show this in some video. I had people asking. I bought this with my own money and I was just disappointed in the quality, especially the bronzers. Like I felt like the blush and highlight were really pretty, and that's kind of why I've held on to it. But I have plenty of blushes and highlights that look that pretty, right? I mean, these are gorgeous. But to keep it really just for those, I feel like the bronzer, and there's something about it, like they just don't show up well, no matter what brush I use with it. See, now that looks freaking gorgeous. I don't know, man. I feel like maybe I should try it again. Because again, I bought it with my own money. It was so expensive. By the way, it's called the Nudegasm face palette. I think I'm going to add it to my maybe. I'm going to put these literally on my vanity. And in the next week, I'm going to use all of these. And if I don't feel super impressed right away, they're going to go. All right, this is the Charlotte Tilbury powder bronzer. She's launching a cream bronzer soon. I'm so excited to try. I really like this. I don't know that I think it's so good as it is that it's worth the money, but I do think the formula is good. So there's no reason for me to get rid of it. I like it. I like the tone of it. I have shade number 2, medium, and I really like that. So definitely going to keep, if I ever like ran out of this, would I feel like I need to spend the money to buy it again? No, because I like Drugstore ones better, but I do think it's good. I hope that made sense. I love the Milani Silky. I knew I would do that. The Milani Silky matte bronzer is such a high quality bronzer. It is, in my humble opinion, a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury one. It feels so similar. I don't know that the shades are a dupe. I've mentioned a bunch of dupe for Charlotte Tilbury in my Charlotte Tilbury video. If you want to see it, I can link it. But these are so similar when you apply them on the skin formula wise. So I'm just saying you could totally save the money. So I'm definitely keeping the Milani one because I think it is awesome. I really like the Maybelline City bronzer. This is just a little bit light for me. So I feel like I have to apply a lot to get it to show up. You know what I mean? So there's a part of me that's like, maybe I just get rid of it. And eventually, if I really wanted, I could get the darker shade because you can barely see that. So I think I am gonna get rid of this, but I think it's good. Just make sure you get the right shade. This one in 100, I'm pretty fair and this is genuinely too light for me. But I could see myself someday buying the next shade up because I think the formula of that was nice. I love the e.l.f. primer infused bronzer. This one's in Forever Sun-Kissed. It's a good match. This one is also, I think, awfully similar to the Charlotte Tilbury. I would consider this a dupe too. And even just tone wise, I feel like this is similar. I'll swatch it next to it. You can't go wrong with the e.l.f. or the Milani, and they're a similar price point. Very, very similar. I think the Milani one is a little bit silkier than the e.l.f., but it's awfully close. But I'm keeping it. Love them. I'm going to get rid of this. I think this is discontinued and it is super old. This is the Bare Minerals Invisible Bronzer. I liked the idea of it because it was supposed to be like really so smooth and easy to use that you can barely tell. And it is pretty, but it's almost so light. Again, kind of similar that it barely shows up. I still really like it, but like I said, I've had this a long time. This says 12 months. I've probably had this like 5 years, 5 or 6 years. So I think it's just time, you know, it is what it is. Goodbye. All right, so here's my maybe pile. Like I said, gonna put on my vanity. If in this next week, if I give myself too long, I'll end up keeping them. But if in this next week I use these and don't like them, or they're not like wowing me, they're gonna go. If they're medium or worse, I think I might just get rid of them. So they have 1 week left to live. All right, so these are my get rid ofs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 things we're getting rid of. That's a pretty good feeling. And these are my keeps for now. I'll eventually get rid of one of the shades of the Rare Beauty. That's a definite. Some that I'm still just kind of trying out, like the Rare Beauty, the By Mario, the Milk Makeup one. And then this, like I said, I am gonna get the other color and kind of try and see which one I like better. I have a feeling it might be the other one. So some little kind of maybes in here, but I feel really good about this. I feel like I can look in my drawer and not feel so totally overwhelmed by like which thing I want to use, you know? Hey, and how nice is this? This is all of my bronzers. So it'll go like that in the drawer. I can see everything. This is perfect. All right, like I said, we're in my daughter's room. I think that's all I'm gonna do in this video because the idea of doing my highlight right now, all my highlights, is it would be just as long. So that video will come. That might be the next declutter that I do. We'll see. But I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, if you want to watch more of my declutters, I'll link my playlist and I'll also link the Amazon favorites. I know I mentioned that, like about the watch thing. If you want to check that recent video out too. And yeah, that's all. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.